Find out how you can turn golden trees into people. Also find out how to handle a new element in the palm of your hand. Find out how drugs affect you. Open Mic Night takes you through all of this today on Locked On.
Hello everyone, it's Open Mic Night here, and today we're going to be looking at a game called Ancient War. Ancient War is a fully finished game that is free download for Windows users. It is developed by HeartBeast, a game developer who made this game when he was about 17 years old, which is actually pretty amazing for this game. Also, he made Deep Magic, and is currently working on a game called Life After Craft, and I have seen some screenshots. It looks definitely cool. Anyways, Ancient War is a strategy game where you can build up your army to defeat computers that are also trying to wage war on you. It has a very simple pixelated art style along with some triumphant music in the background. You need to collect your resources to fund your tiny war as you try to protect yourself by building the strongest and largest army. There are 8 different types of units. There's the worker, who collects the resources, the fighter, the archer, the healer, the water mage, the warrior, the ranger, and finally the light mage. These units are all used for combats. However, the units all differ in abilities and costs. Along with this, you can also upgrade your units so they do more damage, or all have different abilities. In this game, there are 2 main modes. Quick Battle, where you square off against a computer to get those units out as quickly as possible, along with upgrading your units so you can kill them easily. Also, there's Survival Mode, where you try to live as long as possible against a wave of enemies that come in and attack you, each larger than the one before. Overall, the coolest had to be the Sandbox Mode for me, where you can set up your own troops, resources, and base. This game gives me the feel of a much more simpler, quick-action Age of Empires. After playing around, I really started to enjoy it. However, I never seemed to get past bot difficulty of 5. Maybe it's just because I'm a scrub, but I always end up dying right away. I also put some time into the Sandbox Mode, which is overall probably my favorite part, because you can spawn a ton of troops, as many as you want, powerful units, to crumble the enemies. A problem I did read in the comments and actually experienced myself is that the game seems to be crashing a lot. Maybe it's just my PC, but it did crash a few times. Even though that was frustrating, the overall game makes up for it. The simplicity and quick action of the game is actually quite charming and enjoyable. It is fun and simple. It's a real-time strategy game that is definitely worth a play. You can get involved with Ancient War by going to GameJolt.com and giving the game a download or posting any comments or praise that you have to the developer. I really suggest checking it out. The next game we're going to be looking at is a game called Monochrome, developed by Rogue Bracket. It's a 3D first-person puzzler and has a sci-fi theme to it, and also has some really nice artwork. You try to unearth the secrets surrounding the drone uprising. You end up being put into the game to test out what some things your handy glove can do when it all goes awry. The drones go haywire and kill all the scientists, leaving you around a bunch of dead bodies, spewing blood like a fountain. So here you are, left in this science vicinity with a bunch of rogue drones, until one man starts to contact you and help you in your quest with finding out what happened and what went wrong. He claims to be human, but from what I've got to see and what I've played, I haven't got to see the actual character. So you work your way through the rooms of puzzles using different energies that affect this special metal called Monochrome, including a blue energy that sends out a pulse to destroy things. It also increases your jump height. This one had to be my favorite. I like getting launched around the map and was standing on a block for about 10 minutes just jumping up and down. The purple energy is a sticky energy that you use to activate pressure pads, or use them as platforms against a wall for your character to jump up onto. Finally, there's the yellow energy, to make the block from a solid into a gas. The rooms have all different setups, each one more challenging and fun to figure out. This elemental-themed puzzle has an overall feel of a game like Portal. The voice acting is also quite good for an indie game. The levels are actually difficult and had me stuck for a good 10 minutes on one when I didn't know how to transfer the energy from the one cube to the next. Granted, I am Mike and the slightest bit daft. However, it was very fun. The real challenge was definitely transferring the energy into the blocks. But the game's put together nicely, and I overall like the feel of it. I enjoy the puzzles and the whole concept of the game. Scrolling down the list of indie games, this one stood out for sure. In total, the game was a lot of fun with some rough edges. The 3D graphics were quite smooth and impressive, But one thing I did notice that brings back to the rough edges idea is that when you look through the glass in the tutorial, the scientists had already had blood on them before anything happened with the drones. One thing that made me laugh, though, like I said before, was the fountain of blood, the constant spew of blood from the dead scientists. You could sit there forever and the blood would be still going on. There is some hype around this game for me because I like the creepy sci-fi genre in total. You can get involved by going to GameJolt.com to download this game. They also have an IndieDB page, so go on IndieDB.com and you can find them. It's currently a free download, also available on the Desura Marketplace. It's a very creative game, all around entertaining, with some error, but I think the rest of the gameplay makes up for that. Please everyone note that this game contains flashing lights and intensive movements. It may trigger epileptic seizures in a small percentage of individuals. Please do not watch this if you are prone to seizures. I do not want you to die. Here we have a game called ViViD, developed by the Layabouts. The Layabouts have made other games including Block Dude X, My Little Planet, and Psylor vs. the Evil Mutant Cats. ViViD is available for free on Windows. It's a game where you play as a regular guy named Bert, a sort of regular Joe, who's sort of a trouble man, and he partakes in a program asking him to test an experimental vision drug for a doctor who works close to his house. Your adventure continues when you try to travel to the doctor's office each morning while also avoiding obstacles and feeling the effects of each drug. This game, with its pixel art style and trippy music, has you frustrated with your skill on platformers. Each day poses a new effect of the pill given to you by the doctor. The game gets quite intense as you try to get to his office. There are many effects of the drug that the doctor gives you, like dizziness or overfocus, where the screen is zoomed in 4 times. This game is also very goddamn difficult. At one point, you have more. The more you move, the more screen get fuzzy, and if you move enough, the screen will go completely white, so you can't see a thing. I think that without each level being a new checkpoint, then I would be stuck at the same level and never beat the game. Not to mention, also, the screen is divided up into 4 parts one time, and they're random, and you try to travel through it while it's also shaking. This game also has kind of a heavy storyline, which I didn't really expect. I thought I just expected to be a trippy platformer. And it seemed like there was a lot of symbolism behind it at the end. I definitely won't ruin it for you guys. To learn the ending, you'd have to play it. The game, mainly driven by the doctor's dialogue and the creepy ending, caught me by surprise. The game reminds me of something like I Want to Be the Guy, if you need a reference, because of its very hard platforming. It's a little too challenging for my taste, and I sort of got frustrated with it. But if you're someone who loves a challenge, and is actually skilled at video games, I suggest you try this one. The game developers have my love because I really enjoy most of what they put out, and get updates on all their new games. So I suggest downloading this game, and checking out more games by the Layabouts. You can download this on GameJolt.com along with their other titles. If you like a trippy, weird platformer, then this is the game for you.
And that wraps things up for today's episode of Locked On. All of the links are in the description for every game that you saw today. Also, a special shout out to Mr. It's Open Mic Night for coming through for me this week. Without him, this episode would not be possible. Thank you for watching. I'm Luminary, and you've officially been Locked On.